Picture this. In less than a week, two of England's most fascinating football clubs, Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur, did not merely swap managers. Instead, they executed a high-stakes exchange that could reverberate across the entire global football ecosystem, stirring up hundreds of millions of pounds, rewriting club legacies, and potentially reshaping the trajectory of Premier League innovation. Was this a case of strategic brilliance? Or a gamble that risks undoing years of painstaking progress? Let's set the scene with a bit of history. Fewer than 10 years ago, Brentford Football Club was battling for survival in League One, the third division of English football. To grasp the magnitude of their journey, consider this. In the year 2014, Brentford's annual turnover barely nudged above the £10 million mark, and their wage bill lagged behind even the more modestly resourced Championship sides. Fast forward to today, and Brentford has become a case study in footballing circles and business schools alike. A club that has established itself as a shrewd, analytically minded Premier League mainstay. Their rise is regularly cited as a playbook for sustainable success, built on the pillars of data analytics, tactical evolution, and a culture that welcomes calculated risk. At the heart of this remarkable transformation was Thomas Frank. Appointed in the autumn of 2018, the Danish manager revolutionized Brentford's fortunes through a scientific approach to football management. Frank's philosophy went far beyond the training ground. He championed data-driven scouting and recruitment, honed intricate set-piece routines, and cultivated an environment where squad unity and psychological resilience were paramount. Under his stewardship, Brentford broke a 74-year exile from the top flight, clinching promotion to the Premier League in the spring of 2021. The jubilant scenes at Wembley, as the Bees sealed their place among England's elite, became etched in footballing folklore. Financially, Brentford's evolution was just as ambitious. During the 2022 campaign, the club reported revenues of approximately £141 million and a post-tax profit of £26 million, a testament to their disciplined approach to balancing sporting ambition with fiscal responsibility. However, even the most sophisticated models are vulnerable to the ruthless economics of the Premier League. Recent financial statements for the year 2024 reveal a loss of nearly £8 million, despite revenues climbing to more than £166 million. Their wage bill, which had rocketed to £68 million only 2 seasons prior, is now a point of tension for a club that has always prided itself on self-sufficiency. The Premier League is unforgiving. Even minor miscalculations can prove costly. While Brentford was grappling with the growing pains of top-flight football, life in North London was no less turbulent. Tottenham Hotspur, one of England's most storied clubs, found itself at a crossroads. Under the dynamic leadership of Ange Postecoglou, the Australian manager known for his adventurous, attacking philosophy, Spurs lifted the Europa League trophy, a rare and cherished piece of silverware for a club that had long craved major honors. Yet, in a move that stunned the footballing world, Postecoglou was dismissed only weeks after his European triumph. His win percentage at Spurs stood at 47%, a figure notably below the 54% achieved by Antonio Conte, his predecessor. Despite this, Postecoglou's reputation remained undimmed. His phone rang off the hook with offers from ambitious clubs across Europe, North America, and the Middle East. Most notably, Al Ahly, who reportedly offered a contract worth a king's ransom. But it was the call from West London that truly set tongues wagging in the industry. Tottenham, eager to usher in a new era of tactical rigor, triggered Thomas Frank's £10 million release clause, an eye-watering sum that spoke volumes about his rising stock. As Frank packed his bags for North London, Brentford's director of football, Phil Giles, faced a daunting question. How do you replace a manager who has become the embodiment of your club's philosophy, values, and identity? Initially, the answer seemed to lie outside the club's walls. According to sources at The Athletic and The Mirror, Giles reached out to Postecoglou for an informal conversation. The Australian was intrigued by Brentford's project, but both sides soon realized there was a mismatch. Postecoglou, renowned for demanding complete creative freedom to build his vision from the ground up, found Brentford's emphasis on continuity, structure, and incremental progress at odds with his preferred approach. Reflecting on the process, Giles remarked, "It's more risky to go and get a coach we don't know, from a club where the environment might be different, or where maybe people around them made them successful. This is actually quite a low-risk appointment because I know how good Keith is." Ultimately, Brentford looked inward, and promoted Keith Andrews, their respected set-piece coach and former Republic of Ireland international, to the club's senior managerial role. Andrews, whose coaching pedigree includes a spell under Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, was handed a 3-year contract, his first at this level. The reasoning, as Giles explained, was rooted in minimizing risk.
There's always going to be some degree of risk, but it's more risky to go and get a coach we don't know.
However, not everyone in the football community shared Giles' confidence. Joby McAnuff, a seasoned analyst and former professional, captured the unease among Brentford supporters. There's no hiding from it. This is a gamble, and the stakes are Premier League survival. The concerns are not misplaced. In the unforgiving world of top-flight football, the cost of relegation is catastrophic, not just in terms of prestige, but also financially. Clubs that drop out of the Premier League often see their revenues slashed by more than half, with so-called parachute payments providing only temporary relief. For Brentford, who reported a loss of nearly £8 million even while maintaining top-flight status, the financial precipice is all too real. The managerial merry-go-round has set the stage for a season loaded with intrigue. Thomas Frank is now tasked with revitalizing Tottenham, Ange Postecoglou is fielding offers from across the globe, and Keith Andrews is charged with safeguarding Brentford's Premier League future. The stakes could hardly be higher for the clubs, the managers, and the fans whose lives are intertwined with every twist and turn of the footballing narrative.
So what are the broader implications of this chain reaction?
Let's start with Tottenham Hotspur. The appointment of Thomas Frank is widely viewed as a calculated masterstroke. Rio Ferdinand, a legend of English football, predicted that Frank's blend of Premier League experience and tactical discipline could propel Tottenham back into the top 4, securing that elusive Champions League spot. Frank's Brentford teams were renowned for their resilience, adaptability, and set-piece prowess, often outperforming much wealthier rivals. His commitment to youth integration and maximizing squad depth might be the missing ingredient Tottenham needs to end its cycle of inconsistency and near misses. Yet, optimism is tempered by caution. The Premier League is littered with the wreckage of promising managerial appointments that faltered amidst internal politics, sky-high expectations, and the relentless pressure of weekly results. Tottenham fans, long-suffering and ever-hopeful, have heard grand predictions before, only to see dreams dashed by poor transfer decisions and mid-season collapses. For Frank, success will demand more than tactical acumen. He must secure buy-in from a squad accustomed to managerial churn, collaborate closely with technical director Johan Lang to deliver a coherent transfer strategy, and withstand the intense scrutiny that comes with one of football's most high-profile jobs.
Brentford's situation is even more nuanced. The promotion of Keith Andrews, while logical from an internal perspective, has triggered skepticism from the outside. Andrews is highly regarded within the club for his meticulous set-piece work and his fluency in Brentford's data-driven culture. But this is his maiden voyage in senior management, and that inexperience is a source of anxiety. Joby McAnuff's blunt assessment still echoes. Brentford supporters know the Premier League is unforgiving. Appointing an untested boss could backfire spectacularly. Financial pressure only heightens the risk. With revenues exceeding £166 million but still reporting a net loss, Brentford's margin for error is razor-thin. The wage bill, soaring to £68 million in 2022, is a concern for a club whose identity is rooted in sustainability. The specter of relegation is ever present. Should Brentford falter, the financial blow could unravel years of careful stewardship and innovation. Yet, within every crisis lies opportunity. Brentford's unwavering commitment to a data-driven approach, refined over more than a decade, gives them a unique edge in a league where margins are slim. Their academy, lauded for consistently unearthing talent, and a global scouting network furnished Andrews with resources that most rookie managers can only dream of. The club's set-piece routines are the envy of rivals, and their culture, shaped by owner Matthew Benham, encourages resilience, adaptability, and creative thinking. Andrews' challenge thus extends well beyond tactics. He must maintain morale in a squad that has lost its charismatic leader, oversee recruitment in a fiercely competitive market, and build on the club's tradition of tactical innovation. If Andrews can navigate these waters, Brentford's reputation as a model for sustainable growth will only be enhanced. But a handful of missteps could see the club's hard-won Premier League status evaporate in a single campaign, a cautionary tale for any club that dares to prioritize continuity over experience. This episode offers a profound lesson for the footballing world. In football, as in business and technology, risk is inescapable. Phil Giles' words ring true. There's always going to be some degree of risk. The key, whether on the pitch or in the boardroom, is to ensure that those risks are informed, calculated, and grounded in a deep understanding of your unique strengths. Brentford's approach epitomizes how well-planned risk-taking, underpinned by robust systems and knowledge, can yield exceptional results. Yet, as countless clubs have discovered, the line between visionary innovation and reckless overreach is perilously thin. Historical parallels abound. Recall the early 2000s, when Southampton controversially promoted youth coach George Burley to the senior job. The move brought fleeting success, followed by turbulence and eventual relegation. More recently, Brighton's decision to appoint Graham Potter, then largely unknown outside Sweden, proved transformative, as the club found stability and even qualified for European competition. These stories underscore a simple truth: fortune favors the brave, but only when courage is matched by diligent planning and clarity of vision. Zoom out, and the managerial carousel at Brentford and Tottenham mirrors emerging trends in the global game. The rise of data analytics, the growing emphasis on cultural fit, and the insatiable quest for competitive edges have made managerial appointments more complex than ever. Today's clubs are no longer content to hire on reputation alone. They seek leaders who can seamlessly integrate into their ecosystems, inspire innovation, and deliver under levels of scrutiny unimaginable even a decade ago. For Tottenham, the arrival of Thomas Frank could herald a new era of stability and ambition. Should he successfully embed his high-pressing, set-piece-centric methodology, and should the club's recruitment team provide the right blend of youth and experience, Spurs may finally break their cycle of near misses. The path to the Champions League, however, is fraught with obstacles. Rival clubs with deeper pockets, a demanding fan base, and the ever-present volatility that defines English football. Brentford's challenge is even greater. Keith Andrews inherits a club in flux, with a fan base oscillating between hope and unease. His success will depend not just on tactical nous, but on his ability to galvanize belief, manage egos, and navigate a season filled with peril. The lower half of the Premier League is a shark tank, with established entities like Everton, ambitious newcomers such as Leicester City, and perennial survivors including Crystal Palace, all fighting tooth and nail for survival. And where does this leave Ange Postecoglou, the charismatic Australian at the center of this whirlwind? His brief flirtation with Brentford underscores the universal respect he commands. While the Middle East and Europe dangle lucrative offers, insiders suggest he seeks a project where he can truly build a club's culture from scratch, perhaps in Major League Soccer, where his attacking philosophy could flourish, or with a progressive European outfit eager to disrupt the old order. Wherever he lands, his next move will be watched with fascination by fans and pundits alike. But let's not overlook the wider implications for football itself. The saga at Brentford and Tottenham is a microcosm of the sport's relentless pace of change. Clubs must operate with agility, embracing uncertainty, and pivoting as circumstances demand. The gap between success and failure is razor thin. Even the most watertight plans can unravel due to a handful of poor results, a key injury, or a sudden loss of form. There are lessons here for fans as well. The passion and loyalty that define football supporters are both the sport's greatest strength and its most intractable challenge. Change is inevitable, and patience can be hard to come by. But as Brentford's journey shows, progress is rarely linear. Setbacks, risks, and moments of doubt are part and parcel of the climb to the top. The key is to build structures, on and off the pitch, that can absorb shocks and turn adversity into opportunity. For club owners, executives, and aspiring managers, this episode is a vivid reminder. The most successful organizations, whether football teams, startups, or multinational corporations, are those that embrace risk, learn from failure, and never stop evolving. Brentford's bold promotion of Keith Andrews is a roll of the dice that could secure their place among England's elite for years, or serve as a warning for those who dream big without a safety net. Looking ahead, what are the likely scenarios? Will Thomas Frank guide Tottenham back to the upper echelons of European football, instilling a culture of resilience and tactical sophistication? Can Keith Andrews defy the odds, steering Brentford clear of the relegation trapdoor, and perhaps even inspiring a cup run to fire the imagination of neutrals? Or will the burden of expectation prove too heavy, ushering in a period of upheaval and introspection at both clubs? A closer look at Premier League dynamics highlights just how tough the road ahead will be. In recent seasons, even clubs with storied histories, such as Leeds United or Southampton, have fallen from grace, underscoring how quickly fortunes can change. The financial chasm between the Premier League and the Championship is vast. Clubs relegated from the top flight often lose more than 50% of their annual income, and while parachute payments provide a temporary cushion,
they are no guarantee of a swift return. Brentford's cautious approach to spending is designed to minimize the risks of this financial cliff. But even they are not immune to the market's brutal realities. Meanwhile, Tottenham's own quest for stability is clouded by the relentless churn that has characterized their recent managerial history. Since the departure of Mauricio Pochettino, Spurs have cycled through high-profile appointments: Jose Mourinho, Nuno Espirito Santo, Antonio Conte, and Ange Postecoglou, with each bringing hope, upheaval, and, ultimately, disappointment. Daniel Levy, the club's chairman, has faced criticism for his handling of these transitions, with pundits pointing out that a lack of long-term vision has often undermined short-term gains. Thomas Frank's appointment is a chance to break this cycle, but only if he is given time, resources, and autonomy. From a technology and economic standpoint, the Brentford-Tottenham saga also offers rich parallels. Both clubs have invested heavily in analytics, scouting software, and sports science infrastructure. Brentford, in particular, are pioneers in the use of statistical modeling for player recruitment and match preparation. Their approach has influenced clubs across Europe and even in American sports, where data-driven decision-making is now the norm. Tottenham, too, have upgraded their facilities and data departments, seeking to close the gap on the Premier League's giants, not just on the pitch, but in the boardroom and back office. As the dust settles, Brentford's bold experiment with Keith Andrews will be closely scrutinized by clubs and observers around the world. If successful, it will reinforce the notion that continuity, internal promotion, and a strong club culture can trump experience and external glamour. If it fails, the narrative may swing back towards the value of established names and the dangers of excessive risk-taking. For Tottenham, the pressure is equally intense. With a new stadium, a massive global fan base, and a commercial machine to feed, the stakes for Thomas Frank are nothing short of Champions League qualification and long-term renewal. For viewers and listeners, whether you are managing a team, building a business, or charting your own career path, the lessons are universal. Sometimes, the boldest moves deliver the greatest rewards, so long as you have the systems, the vision, and the courage to see them through. In football, as in economics and technology, the only constant is change. The best organizations are those that embrace uncertainty, learn from setbacks, and never stop evolving. As we look forward to another thrilling Premier League season, the stories of Brentford and Tottenham remind us that football is more than just a game. It is a laboratory of risk, innovation, and resilience, where the fortunes of clubs, communities, and individuals can change in the blink of an eye. Will Brentford's calculated gamble secure their place among England's elite? Or will it prove a bridge too far? Will Tottenham finally find the stability and ambition their fans crave? Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the intersection of sports, economics, and innovation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our expert analysis. We want to hear from you. Will Brentford's bold bet pay off, or are we about to witness one of the Premier League's great cautionary tales? Share your thoughts, predictions, and football wisdom in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and remember,